All right, I think I'm live. Chris, you want to go over to YouTube and maybe check that out? Can you do that on the fly as well? So let's give it a second here. And guys, if you are seeing this and you're on YouTube, let me know. And let me know if you guys have any questions. We're actually going to be doing a TAS Power Hour on Facebook, and we are on YouTube. So you guys are not seeing, I've got Dom and I've got Chris on as well. So we're going to be answering some questions on Facebook Live, but also any of the YouTube ones that we have come in. And this is actually a test for YouTube because I wanted to actually see how many of you are there and how many of you show up when I go live. So this is kind of a test, and we're going to see what happens here during this test. So if you guys have any questions, please put them down below and let me know. If you have any questions. All right, Chris. So let's do this. Let's jump in. Did you go live on Facebook yet? Well, this is kind of odd, actually, because I'm listening to Chris Schaefer in my earbud, and you guys are not hearing it on YouTube. Facebook, you guys are hearing it. So, again, this is totally an experiment. But basically, my week has been pretty good. We've been rocking and rolling here. We've been with the new brand, we're kind of plugging through and figuring all that stuff out. But yeah, I mean, things have been going well. And we're about ready to go back in stock on one of our products in the brand, in the new brand. But yeah, things are going well. Yeah, I'm excited to kind of dive into today's topic. And Dom, you guys didn't hear that on YouTube, but Dom sounded like he just dropped a bunch of stuff. All right, so Chris, I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do this. YouTube, if you guys have questions, post them in the chat, or you can always head over to Facebook, and we are live over there as well with Chris Schaefer and Dom Sugar. But if you guys have any questions, drop them in there and let me know. Facebook, same thing. If you guys have any questions, please do that. Drop them in the comments down below. We'll do our best to answer those. Chris, what I might end up doing is unplugging my earbud and letting you guys come through so at least they can hear the conversation. So
Candy says, hi, I couldn't stay on last night. I got to. Sleepy Michelle, you should have a link to the replay so you can catch whatever you missed already. For those of you guys who weren't on with us last night, we did our first workshop for the first time in about 2 months. And we covered the 5 phases of finding, sourcing, launching, and expanding your products inside of Amazon. So for those of you who are on Facebook with us, the people that can actually hear the sound of my voice, at least in theory right now, can you guys do us a favor? First, if you know somebody that might benefit from this, share that over to them on Facebook, share it to a page, share it to a group, share it wherever you want to share it. Second, if you can hear us, let us know by either leaving a comment, giving us a thumbs up, a Mr. Yuck, a smiley face, any of those kinds of things. Let us know that we're not just standing here talking to ourselves. While I'm waiting on that, Dom, what's been going on with you this week, brother?
Same old as always hectic, lots to do. Man, I wish I just had private label stuff I could do. I could just sit here and relax a little bit, but yeah, just a lot of private label stuff, winding up for a fourth quarter, get new ASINs, SKUs ready for the open brand, for other brands, doing some 1K stuff, being there, helping out there. There's a lot of questions and stuff, so that's taking care of that. That's going crazy up there. People are blowing up 1K every day with postings of new sales, so that's been pretty amazing. And just family stuff, it's back to school and everyone's got to get ready to go back. So take some time off and go to some of the amusement parks, try to find as many pictures of some monarchs for Scott and the shark. I blew up their phone last week with 20 pictures. Well, they actually thought I was finding them on Google and then just taking them and sitting there. I said, no. So that's been it pretty well, guys. I mean, pretty well all the same, I think, every week. You guys?
Cool. Yeah, no, I mean, again, Chris, I know we could probably go on about what's going on in our week, but I really do want to just hit the highlights and I want to get into some questions. So let's go ahead and rock and roll.
So I think the big thing that happened this week, you guys have heard us talking a lot about the new brand that we launched back at the end of April. And you've heard some of the pros, like not being able to keep anything in stock, and some of the cons, like having 9 versions of the same listing get created and duplicated and closed and opened by Amazon. This week was one of those not as fun weeks. We have a product that Amazon has been shipping incorrectly, and we've been trying for a little while now to get that actually corrected inside of Amazon. And they actually shut the listing down this week. And Scott, I think you're probably aware of this. If not, because I know you and I didn't actually talk about it. They shut the listing down because of the number of returns, right? They were actually damaging the product in the way that they packaged it. And we had, a slower sales week the last 2 weeks, and we got a handful of returns. This is something that we get asked about inside Private Label Classroom, inside TAS. Oh, hey, they flagged me for, a disproportionate number of returns. And it really is just kind of an automatic thing. We had already put in a service ticket with Amazon to let them know that they were basically their fault because they were shipping products in a package that they should not have been shipping it in, right?
That's odd that you're saying that, Chris, because that just happened to one of my things. One of our, not the Oprah brand, like 2 days, like yesterday. Lost it. I'm like, so weird. But maybe I don't know what's going on. I mean, what's the return rate? 4%? I think ours was like 4 point.
Yeah, they'll definitely do that if you get above just that certain threshold, and
it just triggers an automatic review, right? It's not something to be worried about, but it is a headache and it is kind of a giant pain in the butt when you're up and you're selling, and all of a sudden they go, whoa, you have an issue here, and it's nice to know that we have an issue, but we already knew about it in that case because our customers are very responsive to us. Nice shirt, Dom. I hadn't seen that yet. Our customers are very responsive to us, and they were actually telling us that there was an issue, right? And so because of that, we actually knew about it in advance. But I like to think of that kind of as an early warning system. If you don't have that communication, that feedback coming from your customers, Amazon saying there might be an issue, then all you have to do is figure out what the problem is and go from there.
So what are you doing about that then? Because I have a contact. I basically said it's their fault. My freight forwarder inspects it. We know it's not us. It's them shipping it from their warehouse to our customer that's crushing that. So I haven't talked to FBA because it just happened yesterday. I'm sure. Did I stop you before you got to that point? Because it's never happened. It's never happened to us before. So we don't, out of all our brands.
Yeah, they asked us to give them fulfillment instructions. I'm trying to remember the exact language. I'm going to see if I can look it up here. But they asked us basically to give them packing instructions to see if they could avoid.
Wow. Yeah, a bubble wrap work. I mean, come on. Okay, we'll keep in touch about that because I definitely want to see all that. If anybody out there knows if they've had the issue too, let us know either on YouTube or on Facebook if they've had the same similar and what they've done to rectify. It's one of our top selling items too, and it sucked. Like we knew right away too, that was up because our sales dropped by like 30 units.
Yeah.
We're like, what is going on? And we look, we're like, oh, come on. And then of course everyone, including my wife, like screaming at me, "What'd you do?" Oh man, that's cool.
So that was a little interesting piece. Allie, send us an email to support the amazing seller. Let us know the size and your address, and we'll go from there. Allie also said, I launched my product 28 days ago. I sold a good amount. It's going slow, but I'm happy. I'm breaking even because of my PPC. I'm hoping it'll boost me up. I'm happy with keywords that I targeted. I'm showing on the first page for at least 4 main keywords.
Nice.
That's 1 keyword a week that rocks on. And Allie, the thing that's kind of nice about that is if you're break even in the beginning with PPC, and Dom, I think you feel the same way, Scott, I think you feel the same way. If you're break even in the beginning, that's fine because then you can start to optimize. You can see what's costing you money, you can see what's making you money, and you can go from there.
I was going to say break even is actually good. We're willing to lose money with PPC because of the strike. Again, we've talked about it 100 times in here. We're not giving away lots of product. And then with the funnel system that you guys are doing, you're giving your product away at 50% off, not 90. So you have that margin. 2 years ago, a year ago, you're still willing to lose tons of money. So just take that money and just invest it in PPC. That's the way I look at it. And I don't know if that's good for everybody, but that's the you're never going to get 25%, 33% ACOS right away. Impossible. If you do, a good product.
Well, let me just chime in there really quickly, and what I think we're talking about here is like in the beginning when you're launching a product, are you okay with losing money? And most people don't want to lose money. Who wants to lose money in business, right? No one wants to lose money. But, and I just said this this morning, I think it was to, I forget who it was. Maybe I was even talking through my email. I don't know. But I basically was talking about, like, when you open a brick and mortar business, you're always figuring on, when you open the doors for a grand opening, you are going to be doing a grand opening sale of some kind, just to get awareness to your place of business. And it's the same idea. We just actually interviewed again Jason, who actually was on episode 386, I believe, runs a Fortune 500 company, helps them run their Amazon side of things. And they are still in the mindset of losing money in the initial launch phase to drive sales through Amazon to get ranked, period. Like, so it still is the same exact thing. It's just you have to be willing to understand that. And it's a mindset shift that in the beginning, you're not looking at, I sold something for $1, I made $1, I'm going to put $1 in my pocket. Like, that's just not what we're doing here. What we're doing is we need to get ourselves in the algorithm, in Amazon's search. So this way here, we can start to rank our product, we can start to get sales, and that's going to require some money to do that. And that's your advertising budget. You should be allocating at least 100 units in the beginning, and sometimes many more if you are in a competitive space. So it's just going to depend on that. We usually allow at least 100, but generally even probably double that. So it's really important that you understand that. So if you're thinking to yourself, my ACOS isn't where it needs to be, like when people are already trying to dial in the ACOS so it's profitable in the first 2 weeks, not the right mindset. Like, ACOS doesn't even matter at that point to me. What matters to me is, am I getting clicks? Am I getting sales? And I'm okay with that. My ACOS might be 150, it's okay. What was it organically because of the sales I drove through the pay-per-click. Good friend of ours who actually is doing this in a competitive space, and he's spending upwards of $150 to $200 a day, but he's ranking now on page 2 and sometimes 1. And from there, he's able to sell units. And the last I checked, it was like 20 units a day, but he's spending $150, $200 a day to get those sales. But that's what it's going to take to rank for that competitive market and that competitive space. Chris, there's something you wanted to say there? I seen you kind of smiling.
Bill says, breaking even. I can tell you stories that would make you cry about getting on page 1. And Bill, you're doing okay. Don't worry too much about it. You're doing okay now, right? And that's kind of the thing, right? We hear about all these things, and like Amazon is one of those businesses where, like, if you're selling stuff online, Amazon lets you kind of skip a lot of the stuff that you struggle with and you go through. Like, you don't have to do a $10,000 grand opening. You don't have to do a lot of those kinds of things. You can start a business and start selling on Amazon with significantly less money than what most people would spend just to launch a brick and mortar style business, right? And so it's one of those things that we often forget. So I love hearing about that. Megan Scott wanted to share her big win of the week. She says, my big win of the week is getting back in stock and seeing organic sales before I even got into Seller Central to turn on PPC. So yes, Megan, that is fantastic news. I'm absolutely
That's good news.
Glad to see that.
Cool. And Megan, I just want to give her a shout out. She is someone that helped us put together the North Carolina meetup. So I wanted to give her a little shout out, a little love there. So thank you, Megan, and congratulations on being back in stock. And Megan, what episode were you again on the podcast? We can give a shout out to that episode because it was a good episode, and we did a little coaching call during that session, if I recall. So people might want to go check that one out. So Megan, if you can, type that in the little chat box there. Let us know that. What else you got, Chris?
Scott, we got a whole bunch of questions on the YouTube channel. Guys on Facebook, there's more of you watching, but you are slacking on the questions. So make sure you ask us all of those questions. I'm going to grab a few from the YouTube feed here, Scott, if that's
YouTube.
Cool with you. Shlomo wants to know, how many units do you send in for your first order? And we typically say, Scott, between 500 and 1,000. You can send in less than that. The problem is, if you send in less than that and you get momentum, right, which is a great problem to have, you run out of stock very quickly, and then you have to try to figure out how to get back in stock, and you potentially lose that momentum. You are generally safe with 500 or 1,000 units on that first order, unless something happens like happened with the second most recent product that we launched in the new brand, where we just can't keep the thing in stock. A couple of those products have happened in the open brand. But again, that's a great problem to have because you're selling well more than that 10 a day. You're at 15, 20, 25 a day, and you're just trying to play catch up. That's fine, but you always want to try to set yourself up for success. And that's why I say 500 to 1,000. Scott, I think you're on the same page there. Yep. Dom, are you kind of in that similar ballpark with the exception of maybe a quick test?
Yeah. I mean, sorry. Can you hear me? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, my mic's falling over here.
All right, move on. Next, Dom was too late on that one. Dom's you got to get a little quicker on the response. We got time here. Come on. Is this thing on? Is this thing on?
My team was able to turn a potential item with lack of visibility. We redid the whole picture optimization. We did a launch, and now we're on the first page. That's awesome. He said that's all done within 10 days.
Wow.
So Renfrew, let us know what kind of volume change you saw in that 10 days as well. That is an awesome win. Thank you for sharing. Let's see. Johanna says, I'm from Germany, and I just want to say thank you for the invaluable content you're providing. Scott, he's hanging out with us on YouTube. He says, I hope you get to see this message. Keep up the good work.
I see it. Thank you.
Chris Lutz is hanging out with us on YouTube as well. He said, my wife and I have been listening to the podcast for about a month with some great information.
Sweet.
So far. William wants to know, Scott, what was your cost per lead on Facebook when you spent about €600 to get your audience? I'm around $1 ahead while testing audiences. So
can
Scott,
you convert euros
these numbers earlier this week in dollars?
Okay. I think what they might be referring to is we did a workshop Tuesday, and it was with Rick Mulready, and it was on Facebook ads. And I talked about how we spent about $600 to get 5,000 leads. And basically that's exactly what we did. So do the math on that. It was, Chris, correct me if I'm wrong here, it was under 20 cents a lead. So
that's 12 cents a lead.
12 cents a lead. So basically that's what we got emails for. And then from that list, we were able to then in turn email them about our upcoming product. And then from that, someone on our list shared it in a popular group. And then from there, we sold out of about 222 units in less than 12 hours. So my cost on that was about 12 cents a lead. That doesn't mean that I was expecting that. I was willing to spend up to $1 per lead, if we want to be honest. And I was only shooting for 1,000 leads. So $1,000, again, I go back to, if we're doing a giveaway, if we're doing a promotion like we used to, we were going to give our product away for free or $1 or $5, whatever. We were losing money with the pick and pack fee, the FBA fees, all that stuff, and the cost of the product. So if we were going to give away 100 units, we were going to be spending $1,000 or more, right? So to me, I've spent $1,000, under 1,000. I was able to build an email list, and now I have that asset that I get to hold on to. So that's the big, big difference here. And it was funny because we were talking about that. Like a lot of people, again, they always look at like pay-per-click, ACOS, like, okay, what's the ROI? I want to know what that ROI is like right now, right? And the same thing goes with an email list. Like, okay, how do I see that email list? Like, where's the ROI? And what you don't realize is the ROI comes not just from the first time that you get that lead, it's from after, when you get to communicate with those people, and then they get to maybe share your message or your post or your coupon in a group, and then it takes off like it did with what we did. So I just kind of want to stress that. It's big to understand that you're thinking longer term than just what did it convert at and how much and all that stuff.
And William said, should I be paying 10 cents or $1? The answer is it depends. Scott and I are generally okay with paying up to $1 per lead because we know we're going to get that money back. And you're going to get that money back in fairly short order, right? Especially compared to what you would pay to drive somebody to just your Amazon page directly or a landing page that's not necessarily going to convert as well as something like the giveaway, something like that. William also wanted to know if we tested a bunch of audiences for that. And to be honest, we have not, because we've always been able to identify at least one solid interest or two solid interests that those audiences will have, right? And you can do that if you sit down and do some of the audience research and the audience planning. From there, the way that we're able to bring that lead cost down is we're running conversion optimized ads. So Facebook naturally is going to go in and say, okay, Scott converted, Scott opted into your list. Who looks more like Scott.
Mm-hmm.
And then your lead cost will go from $1 to 98 cents to 94 cents to 12 cents, right? And that's exactly what we're doing. We're picking a broad, close enough audience, and then letting Facebook optimize that ad for us. Renfrew updated us on the sales. They said it's still a mix with promo sales and organic, but we're seeing 20 to 25 sales a day now that we're on that first page. So rock on.
Nice. Nice work.
Franklin says, my Chinese supplier just emailed me that my order is complete. What is the best way to ship it to USA by air? With a freight forwarder, with DHL? Anybody else? I like DHL or FedEx. Scott, I know you're on the same boat. Dom, I think you're in the same boat.
Yeah, just keep it simple, right? Like
no reason to overcomplicate it, especially if it's your first order. You can get more complex, more, different supplier, different freight forwarders, all that kind of stuff as you work your way down the road. If you want to save a couple dollars here and a couple dollars there, right, that stuff does add up. But I would not let that stuff bog you down. Do not let that stop you from selling. Do it the easy way the first time, and then figure out how to expand those margins.
Yeah, if it's your first order, you're starting with small orders, and it's all right, DHL, DDP, or door to door. I mean, obviously, if you've got more volume, I mean, we're sending containers, right? Sea containers, so we don't do any DHL at all.
No, of course.
But yeah, I mean, they actually do have a cargo or a DHL and a UPS, like an actual freight company that you can use, but they're very expensive.
Cool.
Prefer DHL right to your house.
Yeah, I think DHL for me has been the easiest, but we've also done UPS. And actually, Chris, you know what's been really cool? I don't even know if I told you this, but excuse me, our new warehouse, which is basically a brand new facility that's, it's climate controlled, all that stuff. We're on the first floor now. So it's like one of those big, giant companies that has, basically like garages inside of a building, and you can rent them out. Our UPS driver now, or our loads, our orders, they automatically go to our warehouse. They unload them. They get a key from the front desk. They unload them for us inside there. I don't ever have to even touch it to that point. When before we had to either take them from our garage delivery, bring them over by car or truck, or we'd have to meet them there and then offload it. Now they just go ahead. Like the other day, we pulled up the garage door and boom, there they all are, stacked nice and neatly. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, and that was UPS.
Andrew says, I have many future competitors that have a whole bunch of variations that are separately priced. Do people differ prices on their variations due to it being a bestseller, so they raise the price knowing that people will still buy it? Or do they do it because it allows the variant is running low on inventory, so they raise it to slow sales while maintaining inventory? Maybe it's both, maybe it's neither. I'm curious to hear your answer. So Andrew, and correct me in the chat if I'm wrong on this, but you're curious why people have different prices on different variations. Give us an example of the type of variation it is. Because if it's like a size, like a t-shirt size, that makes sense because there's going to be different costs associated with them. If it's all the same product and it's just a different color, there can be some other reasons behind that. And the main one for me would be that top seller. If I have tested that price and I know that the most popular variation is black and that people don't really care if I raise that by $2 and the blue one doesn't sell as well, then you better believe I'm going to raise that by $2 to get the maximum amount out of that. So let us know what kind of variations you're talking about. We can dive into that just a little bit further.
Do
we still have YouTube with us?
Yeah, we still got YouTube
on my end.
Yep, awesome. We still do. We got a bunch. Actually, it's funny. I mean, this is the first time I've done a YouTube live on YouTube. So this is kind of cool. There's less people here than on Facebook, but we have more questions that I can see. But yeah, there's a lot of people on YouTube right now. Chris Lutz, I want to give you a shout out. He's been rocking it over there. And let's see, William. Yeah. Okay. So the one question that I seen was I think it's from Pranay, and says, Scott, should I focus on brand or open brand? It's a good question. And it's going to come down to that same answer that Chris likes to give, and that is, it depends.
Oh, wait, wrong shirt.
Yeah, that's a wrong shirt. But it does depend. I mean, there's pros and cons to both. I think, and Dom could probably, kind of agree with this or disagree with it. I think he's going to agree. But basically, he has brands that are specific to products. And the only thing that he can sell they have to be aligned inside of that brand, right? But with the open brand, you're able to go, oh, look at this. I've got I don't know. Let me grab something. I've got sunglasses. Boom, I want to launch them. I'm going to go ahead and launch sunglasses. Oh, the numbers look really good on hats. I'm going to do a hat. It's a cool hat too, by the way. I got this in Idaho. It's pretty nice, right, Chris? You like that hat? Yeah, it's pretty cool. I don't even know.
Are you going to turn into Dom and just switch caps for every question?
Yeah, exactly. Or okay, I got another one. What if I had I had iPhone lenses that I wanted to sell? I could do those in the open brand, right? So I'm not necessarily restricted on what I can launch because it's an open brand, right? And that's kind of what we found. Like Dom being able to say, "Hey Scott, there's something really cool here. We could go ahead and plug it in and see what happens." We can come to him with an idea and go, "Hey, we just seen this one product. We think it would be good. We've already run the numbers. It looks good. Let's go ahead and order 500 and see what happens." Boom, we plug it in, right? That's the beauty of doing that. Now with a brand, and that's what we're building here with our new brand, it's more to me about then figuring out, number one, if you have a market that you can serve multiple types of products and also ones that are going to help cross promote each other. The other thing is if you have a face to the brand or an influencer that you can work with, that's going to make a huge difference. Okay. And Dom, I want to hear an update too at some point. I guess you kind of struck some gold with an influencer, and I want to hear a little bit more about that. But me personally, I think wherever you are, if you're undecided or you don't know really what brand you want to start and stuff, then do an open brand concept. Like just go and do that, and then you can always split off of that and then start your main brand of something. But if you have a really good idea, maybe you have a really good, or maybe that for the next 5 years, you want to build a brand that's going to be a website, a blog, it's going to have a YouTube channel, it's going to have an Instagram, it's going to have all that stuff, and you're going to immerse yourself in this space, and you're going to go out and you're going to find other people that are going to help you in this space, and you're just going to build this great resource that's going to be having products that are going to support this brand in this market, then do that. Like that to me is long-term strategy, and yes, but
yeah, that's definitely the brand's nicer. What I look at is like my brands are prettier, my listings, everything goes together. Your average sale is good, and you got exactly now you can use different strategies. Like your new brand's a lot different. Open brand, I can just bang things out, bang. They don't have to worry about each other. Yeah, they don't have to match. The listings don't have to be top notch. They can be, we do, but they don't have to be. I can just put it faster, especially in the being in the closeout business. I can get stuff tested, put 500 units and sell them. We're trying to order it again. When you're doing a full brand, you got to have some strategy behind it,
right?
And then brand, and you don't have enough money, or you run out of products to launch, or it gets too competitive, then you're stuck. Then you're like, okay, what do I do? I've already launched 2 products, and oh my God, I don't know what to do now. All my other products are taken because it took me so long to release my first. The open brand, we never worry about that. We just kind of look and say, hey, that sells. The other day you guys sent me an idea. This sells. Okay, we'll take it. We'll launch it. That's it. Okay. Oh, I use this weekend. I can't believe nobody's selling this on Amazon. Yeah. Okay, we'll take that. 2 sales together. Nobody's going to buy this with this and send it to somebody for Christmas. So
yeah, no,
that's why I have both.
Right. Yeah, it allows you to do that. It allows you to do that, and it just, again, it depends on where you are. And I just say, like, if it's going to slow you down right now because you need to have every little thing figured out for the brand, don't do it. Like, just get started. It's funny. I was talking to my daughter again the other day, and she's doing another thing externally to Amazon stuff, building up because she wants something long term, and she's like thinking about the name and the website and all that stuff. And I'm like, that's got to be done. Like, it has to be if you're going to do this. But there's a lot of time that goes into that stuff. You got to, see if the name's available for GoDaddy, but then you got to see if it's trademarked and all that stuff. Then you want to go into logo design, like all that stuff. That's all branding, right? But that can slow you down. So if it's going to slow you down, just do something and get started. That's what I would say.
Renfrew dropped a knowledge bomb. He said, I agree with Scott. Brand building will get you more of a compound effect, but an open brand is more nimble and flexible. And I know, Scott, anytime we talk about like the open brand versus a brand, people get confused. So there's 2 examples that I like to throw out for people. I think everybody, at least in the US, will understand what these are. Great Value, which is the Amazon private, or the Walmart private label brand, right? They have napkins, shampoo, paper towels, frozen vegetables, anything that you can buy, napkin holders, right? Like anything that you can buy in Walmart, they have a generic version of. That's not a cohesive brand. That's an open brand, right? They're not trying to scale that out to, you know, have a brand identity and have people really identify with it. It's just there because they know those products. So the other one in that same exact vein would be Kirkland's, which is Costco's private label brand. It's an open brand. Any product in Costco that sells, they will try to private label under Kirkland's, and they will go from there, right? So
now,
go ahead.
I was just gonna add a brand in Kirkland and Good Value and Amazon Basic because of all put out under those names, right? Like for a brand, you only need 3 or 4 good ones. But with open brand, I think you have to add more SKUs, more ASINs in order to populate your account. You know what I'm saying? Like so you can grow more. That's the only issue with the open brand, 2 ASINs, right? So that's a big thing because I've seen a lot of successful people that only have 2 or 3, 4 with a full brand and they do very well. But that's right. The Kirkland, they wouldn't just have one thing, right? They wouldn't just have Kirkland. Now, I'm not saying you have to release 100 private label, you know, open brand products, but that's how it works, right? The more product you can release under your open brand, the easier it will become.
And it goes right back to the retail arbitrage, right? It's like when we
the same thing.
Yeah, it's the same thing. So, and it's funny because Chris Lutz, I'm gonna give him another shout out. He says, Scott, I just wanted to say thanks so much for the free information and the tremendous motivation you've given me and my wife. And then he goes on to say that we get our, or well, he's talking about, someone else is asking a question here on YouTube, but basically me and my wife are still doing retail arbitrage as we build our private label brand. So I want to also give a shout out to Mike Curry. Last name is Curry, right? Yeah, Mike Curry. Mike doing an awesome job in the retail arb. He's part of our 1K fast track, and he's crushing it, right? But now he's graduating to private label, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, last night he became part of our private label classroom. So Mike, if you're watching, welcome, and we'll see you inside. But basically, a lot of times that's a graduation to kind of go from private or from retail arbitrage to private labeling. And that is why we've done the 1K fast track. And that's why Dom is an expert at that. That's what he's built his businesses from doing retail arbitrage. Because again, it's the same thing, right, Dom? You can go wider in retail arb because you get 5 of these, 10 of these, 20 of these, right? And you spread out your inventory in different markets. So you almost have an open brand concept. You're able to test a lot of different products in a lot of different categories. And then you can start to kind of maybe hone in on some that might be getting your attention because you're like, holy crap, I just put those up and they sold. That's weird. Maybe I could do something that's related to that, or maybe I can do something similar. Maybe I can create my own off brand. And then that's how I can graduate. And you can start to get some sales coming in the door and start building out that account. So I'll just put a little shameless plug in here. 1kfasttrack.com. Definitely go check that out. We've got students in there right now going through the training, and Dom is in there in the Facebook group, but then also he's in there doing the training along with myself and Chris Schaefer, and it's already there. It's kind of like it's a self-paced course, but you kind of go through and it's really action orientated. So it's like you get in there, you take action, and we do a pre-challenge, and in the pre-challenge, our goal is to get you to at least $200 in 7 days, but a lot of times it's 500,000, which is pretty awesome. So just wanted to throw that out there. But yeah, I just want to say Chris is doing the same exact thing. He's starting, Chris Lutz, that is, not Chris Schaefer. But Chris is basically doing the same thing, him and his wife. So congrats on that. I also want to give a shout out to his wife, because a wife and team, or a husband-wife team is really, really awesome if you can do that, because you need that support. And
he wanted us to know that while he's hanging out with us, she's out doing the work.
Well, what?
Retail arb right now.
Nice.
Speaking of retail arb, we got a question here from Brett. He said, could a crazy couponer do retail arb? And I want to get Dom's opinion on this, but to me, that's a perfect personality for retail arb. 1, you know where the deals are. 2, you're getting 900 gallons of Tide for free. That's definitely something you can turn around and sell on Amazon, right? So if you can find some of those kinds of deals, that really ups your margin in the retail arb game, at least from where I sit. Dom, I wanted to get your opinion on that as well.
Yeah, you know what? I envy that when that show came out. We can't do that in Canada because they only restrict you to 1 coupon per person. If you have that ability to extreme coupon and cut and get deal, oh my God, you're pretty successful. Obviously, if you're doing a lot of grocery stuff, you're gonna have to get ungated, which is, you know, you can get that done. There's ways to do that. But yeah, you definitely have an advantage. I love these guys that 4,000 batteries and 2,000 battery cell. Like those are all high-end products on Amazon and eBay. So if you have that, use it to your ability. Of course, that's especially a cutting system, and you can get 500 flyers and 200 of this and printing. But yeah, for sure, do 100%. It's the same avenue. It's pretty well the same. It's just like the big list that we give to the 1K Fast Track of ways to take advantage of, shop on it's 20 times the points, buy one, get one free promotions. Do what you can.
Right.
I mean, those companies, the coupons, they're all getting that money back. So if they're taking $5 off, Gillette's giving them $5 back. So,
and honestly,
get hit on it.
And honestly, I want to say too, anyone that's just thinking about dabbling, like right now is the time, because you can preload the inventory in Amazon with some retail ARP stuff, and then you can sell it out in fourth quarter. I mean, we're getting to that point where if you have that stuff in by November 1st, there's a good chance you're going to offload it. So, definitely take advantage of that. And like you were saying, Dom, coupons are a big thing. And if you're an extreme couponer, well, you've got an advantage, and God bless you. But I wouldn't go that intense. But yeah, if you see that you can, you get a $25 gift card when you buy $150 from Target, well, that's $25 off technically that you're getting. It's like a $25 bill. So you are bringing down the cost, and then you're still going to look at the clearance stuff, and you're still going to look at all of the other discounts that can be added to it. Maybe you're using your red card, which is another 10% or 5% or whatever it is. So you kind of stack and compound those coupons to bring it down, and then that's margin for you. So yeah, that's pretty cool stuff. But all right, Chris, what else we got? We got any other quick questions?
We got 2 quick questions. One, are you guys collecting sales tax in all states? I will say no to this because I'm not required to collect sales tax in all states. I am, however, collecting sales tax, 1, where I have a nexus, and 2, where my accountant tells me to collect sales tax. And the reason for that is the laws are very bizarre. There's some changes going on right now inside of the US. With that, I would talk to your friendly neighborhood accountant. And if you guys are selling on Amazon and you are not using TaxJar, I would highly suggest looking into that. Scott, I believe you're the same way. You're kind of collecting where your accountant and where TaxJar tell you to collect.
Yep.
And Dom, I believe you're doing kind of the same thing, right? You're not collecting in all 50 states because not all 50 states, 1, have sales tax, or 2, require you to. So there's no reason to do that.
Yep. Go to taxjar.com and learn all about it.
We also have a question here. It says headline search versus AMS. AMS is not an ad type. Headline search is, so those 2 things aren't comparable. Inside of Amazon Marketing Services, which is AMS, you do have access to headline search ads, but you also have product display ads, right? So if you opt into Vendor Express or you're in Vendor Central, you have access to both of those ad types. If you're in Seller Central, you only have access to the headline search ads. So to me, it wouldn't really make a difference. If you're using the headline search ads, you can be in either one. If you want to use product display, you have to sign up for Vendor Express or Vendor Central to be able to do that at this point. That's what gives you access to AMS and that 1 additional ad type at this point. But quite honestly, the reporting out of Seller Central tends to be better anyway. So, do what you will with that. Hamid says, during my first 28 days on Amazon, I faced the same problem twice, which is sometimes my listing gets deactivated and my main image gets deleted. Any suggestions? Yes. This is something that Scott and I actually ran into in the new brand. You do want to reach out to 1, the catalog team, 2, the team that Dom has thrown out, which is the resale contribution team, and see if there's an update that's stuck somewhere.
Yeah.
That can cause all kinds of issues for whatever reason. If Amazon came in and updated something, you updated something, and there's a conflict, it can cause images to be deleted. It can cause listings to be deactivated. It can cause a lot of things. If they didn't give you a reason for the image removal, that may be the issue. Otherwise, my suggestion would be take a look at the main image you're listing and make sure that it complies with the main image guidelines. Remember, guys, the main product image on Amazon actually has different guidelines than the supporting images. It has to be only the product that they're going to get in the box, and it has to be on a pure white background. The other supporting images can be more of a lifestyle. Some of them will allow you to use models, some of those kinds of things. So make sure that main image is on that pure white background and go from there. Albie from YouTube wants to know, if I sell from Canada using a fulfillment center in the US, do I need to collect taxes? Again, it's going to depend on your situation. I would suggest talking to your accountant, but generally speaking, you are going to have to collect at least some taxes.
Yep.
Right? So make sure you talk to your accountant and figure out what pertains to your exact situation, because if it's sales tax or income tax or both, is going to vary based on where you are and where you're selling.
Yep.
Scott, did you see any other really quick questions that you wanted to jump in?
Let me just pop back over to, I'm going to pop over to YouTube really quickly and see if we have anybody there. YouTube, if you have any other last minute questions, go ahead and drop them in there. I think we've caught up there. And on Facebook, I think you said that we're caught up there.
I found two that we can answer.
All right, let's go ahead and
if you have more questions, keep them coming. We got another 20 minutes to hang out. But if you don't have anything else to ask, we'll just talk amongst ourselves and hang out with you guys. Dan says, I have a product I'm about to launch. It's not a product like a garlic press per se, where there's a lot of the same exact product. It's something you type into Amazon. You see many different types of designs. So far, so good. Because of this, I can't track the exact match of my product. Okay, that's a common misconception, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. Overall, the sales are there for the search terms and reviews are low. Definitely a strong product for a brand, being that I can throw up a few different designs. Any advice on a product like this? So Scott, and correct me if you or Dom have a different opinion on this, but I think Dan is kind of making one of the mistakes that you and I see all the time where people say, my product isn't like anything else. Right. It's round. Everybody else is selling square. Well, if it's still a garlic press, if the intent of the thing is still to press garlic, it's still a garlic press, and you can look at those. Right. The design itself is not what you're looking at to validate depth and demand. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
So you're not looking at whether it's round, it's square, it's red, it's blue, whatever that is. You're trying to validate the overall demand for the product, and then you can dig one layer deep. Now, in terms of fixing and changing things, that makes looking at the reviews a little bit different. But again, you don't have to say, okay, it's square versus round. It's what are the common things that I'm seeing? How do I make sure that the round one that I launch doesn't have those problems, and how can we address those? And he wanted to say, you know, should I throw up several different designs in product? You absolutely can, especially in a market like that. If you're successful with the first one. But I wouldn't launch 4 or 5 at once. I would launch one and make that one successful. Kind of your best guess at it based on what you see, and then start taking there. And we got a question last night that kind of plays with very well, which is,
hey Chris, hold on 1 second. You're echoing like crazy on my end, and I don't know why. So, just maybe
guys in the chat, let us know if I'm echoing for you as well.
Yeah, let me know if that is the case, because I don't know, maybe it's just on my end, Chris. And if it is, it's going to be annoying on YouTube because they're hearing through my computer. So, yeah, no echo here, no echo. Oh, that's cool. So it's
just on your end, and for all of our friends hanging out on YouTube.
So now it went away. See, now it totally went away, and I didn't do anything. So, all right, cool. Nope. Okay, cool. All right, were you finished with that?
No, the other kind of that question that we get, YouTube, bear with me, I'm echoing for you, is if there's, you know, if I'm selling a t-shirt and there's 19 color variations, do I have to launch all 19? Right. So Scott, to launch all 19, should they launch all 19 right at the start?
No. I mean, you want to know? You want to know why? Did you want to know why? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah. No, go for it. I know why, but I don't know that everybody else.
I don't think.
Go ahead.
Put in 19 variations is a lot, especially for, you know, I think 3 to 4 or 5 max when you're starting out. I don't think you need to go overboard with 19.
I think it's different though, Chris. If we're talking about variations like colors, that's different. If we're talking products and different SKUs as far as listings go, that's a different story. But if
what's your thought on colors then?
Yeah, I mean, well, I'm saying this. If you are going to launch, I don't know. Is the question, should I launch 3 things at once, or should I launch 3 colors and I don't know which one is going to be the best seller?
I think it's, you know, do I need to launch all 3 to start with, and should I launch all 3?
Okay, you do not have to launch all 3. If you think that there is enough demand for all 3, then yes. If you have enough resources, meaning finances, to launch all 3, then yes. But all 3, I'm saying if it's a variation. So if it's a variation, meaning red, blue, and yellow, and it's under the same listing, then go for it, okay? But if you're only doing that because you're guessing that they might want yellow, I would see which one is selling the most right now, and I would start with that one. If it's black, it's going to be black, all right? And then the red one might sell half of what the black does, but it will still be nice to have because I'll pick up some additional sales, right? But now if we're talking about we're going to have 2 different products, one's a garlic press and one's a lemon press, well, I'm not going to launch both of them at once because I want to take all my energy and launch the one product and then maybe wait, I mean, as much as a week or 2, and then launch the next one. It generally doesn't happen that close. For us in the new brand, it did, and that was kind of just by accident because everything kind of came in together and we didn't plan that. It wasn't supposed to, but it did. And then we did, and we really, I think we could have did better on one of the launches if we didn't have to kind of hold back on pushing it, but we did. So I would say try to stagger them out at least a week to 2 weeks apart. So that's my long-winded answer for that.
And for me, you know, the too long didn't read short form answer to that is launch the one that you're going to be most successful with, right? Follow the 80-20 rule. If somebody's selling 20 variations, a handful of those, 1, 2, or 3 is probably making 60, 70, 80% of the sales. Mm-hmm. Focus on those. And then if you want to launch fuchsia, go for it. Megan said, I have a question. What's the best way to send a product to an influencer? I reached out to a bunch. They said yes and sent me their address. Should I buy it myself? No. And send it to their address. I don't want to go back and say, oh, you could actually do it yourself with this coupon. Mm. Well, first of all, you can't give them free with a coupon anymore. It's 99% off, so they'd have to pay to do that. Mm. But the easy way to do that would be with a fulfillment order out of the back end. Amazon, yep. That's the quote unquote correct way to do it. It'll cost you a few bucks, but you can get the product right out to them. You can get them whatever shipping time you want, from 1 day up to like the no rush 7 to 10 day business type shipping. So that's how I would do it. It's very easy to do. You just go in your inventory tab, select the product, and click that actions drop down and select fulfillment.
You know, Chris, that's a good point, because some people don't realize that you have inventory inside of Amazon. It's sitting there. You don't have to just sell it through Amazon to fulfill through Amazon.
Correct.
Okay. So understand this. If I want to send Chris one of my products, I can. I'm going to pay for it. Woo-hoo. Okay. But I'm not going to pay the Amazon advertising fee, or whatever they call the listing fee. I'm going to pay the pick and pack because they're doing that, but I'm not going to pay the other fees. And it's my inventory, so I can do whatever I want with it. If I sell something on eBay, all I need is the address, and then I can ship it to those people. If I sell something on Etsy, I can ship it to those people. Like, I can ship it to whoever I want with my inventory. So if you are going to do that, Megan, then like Chris said,
software that'll help you too, Scott.
Yeah,
Chris, Joe Lister.
Yep, Joe Lister. I haven't played with it, so I haven't really felt like I want to talk much about it. But yeah. I know some people have, and I think you've played around with it. But I guess from what I'm hearing, and again, I'm not an affiliate for them or anything, but basically what it does is if you get an order through eBay, it connects through the API into Amazon, and then it will fulfill your order for you. Yeah. Which is pretty slick. But if you want to do it the long form way, and if you just wanted to throw some of your products on eBay, and then if they sell, you just go ahead and you just get their mailing address, which you're going to have, go over into your seller's account in your dashboard. You're going to create an order, and you're going to fulfill it through Amazon. That's it. Cool.
And that is the quote unquote correct way to do that with an influencer. You can technically buy it yourself if you have a buyer account and a seller account. Amazon doesn't let you add your own products to cart.
Right.
So on the front end, at least I've never been able to. And that's how I know, like when I go to check a promo code, oh yeah, I'm stupid, I'm in the wrong account. And then I log into my buyer account and try it. But the fulfillment order, it'll take you 5 minutes to set up. Then you can select how fast it ships, and you can go from there.
And I'm just going to throw something out there, and I've done this, and I'm not sure if it's 100% within terms of service. I don't see a huge deal. But, for example, and I think it was actually our good friend Bill, he wasn't aware of this either. But basically, let's say that you are doing a coupon, and you want to kind of preserve some of your inventory. I can actually reserve some of my inventory to not be sold, because I may be sending that inventory to another place. Like maybe someone's going to buy wholesale from me. Maybe someone says, Scott, I want to order 500 units and I want you to ship them to me. I can go and I can create a manual fulfilled order inside of an order inside of Amazon. I can put their address, and I can say I want to allocate 500 units. So Amazon, do not sell these 500 units. They're already pre-sold. Or at least they're reserved.
They're committed.
They're committed. Okay? And I can put that to hold for up to 2 weeks. Last I checked, it was 2 weeks. Up to 2 weeks. Now, that inventory is not available. So I might have 1,000 units, but 500 are locked up. So if I ran a coupon, and that coupon ran wild, and I discounted it more than I should have, which you're not supposed to do that anymore, don't do that, then I would only be selling out what I was allowing them to sell. Okay? Then once that would expire, I can go, you know what? I'm going to release those 500 units back into my everyday inventory. So just want to throw that out there, Chris.
Yeah, no, that's a great little tip. Let's see. We had a great question over on YouTube, and I'm trying to find it. Where did it go? Peace Treaty wants to know, how do you deal with a hijacker?
Well, first off, try to be polite and civil, okay? And calm down and don't type an email and scream and yell. Like, that's the first thing. The second thing is you want to send them a cease and desist letter. Basically, I published it on my blog. I don't know the actual episode, but if you just go to the search bar at theamazingseller.com and just search for cease and desist, or just put in there hijacker, you'll find it. And then from there, you just send them that letter. And then usually that will work. A lot of people say it works great. Okay. If that doesn't work, then you have to contact Amazon. You have to also purchase their product, and you're going to have to prove that they're selling your product or a product that's supposed to be yours. And then the other thing that you could do is you can always reach out to an attorney. I've had Ted Limas on the show, and he actually does that for a fee, and he's got like 99.9% success rate of getting people off. And at that point, if your listing is hijacked and you're losing sales every single day, and you have a good selling product, that could be thousands of dollars a day. So that might be worth you hiring an attorney to just take care of it for you, right? But the other thing is that's why trademarking is becoming really, really important, because when we get brand registered now with a 2.0 program, we have a trademark that's supposed to, we don't know 100%, but that's supposed to lock things down a little bit more securely, so you won't have your listing as easily exposed for a hijacker. The one thing Ted had told me, though, was, hijackers look for easy prey in a sense, right? So if you don't have maybe your product with your branding on it in a picture, they'll attack that, because that's easy, right? It's just generic. Okay, how are you going to prove that that's your product? So that's number one. You want to definitely put your markings on the product, have that in your image. But then the other thing is just having everything else done that you can that's up to par. You know what I mean? Like within your listing. Part of that is having your trademark. And if you're already trademarked in the 1.0, you are trademarked, so you do have a little bit of an edge. You aren't going to lock your listing down, but you'll at least have a little bit of an edge when you contact them. So that would be another barrier. But then from there, you would want to do the 2.0, which is your trademark.
Sounds good. Peachtree says, thanks, my friend. Charles from Dallas is hanging out with us
on
Facebook Live. He said, so hang on a second. If I run a promotion and manually fulfill by shipping to the customer, can the customer still leave me a review? So, Charles, there's a couple things that I want to unpack there. First, if you're running a promo on Amazon, you're not manually fulfilling it. Those were two kind of different things. Amazon would still fulfill that for you, so you wouldn't have that worry. The time that you're going to manually fulfill it is if you're like sending it to an influencer, right? Or you're selling on eBay, you're selling on Shopify. That's when you would use that fulfillment order. You're not generally going to do that for a promo. Customers can still leave you a review. It would just be an unverified review, right? So if someone shows, if I send somebody a replacement, for instance, right, which I can do, or if I just sent Scott my product, he's an Amazon customer. As long as he meets the requirements to leave a review on any product, he could still leave it on mine because he's not getting it for free, right? It's not a biased review necessarily, but he's able to do that. It just wouldn't be verified. And Scott, we always get questions asked, verified versus unverified. To me, it doesn't matter. Just get the review. It'll work itself out in the end. Charles says, if I'm selling it off Amazon, Charles, again, you can do that. They can leave a review. Just make sure that you're complying with the terms of service, right? You are not sending them that product in exchange for a review, right? No different than giving a discount on Amazon. As long as that's not the expectation, you should be okay there. And they would be able to leave a review because you're able to leave a review even if you haven't purchased the product directly through Amazon, at least as of right now.
Yep.
Chris says, wow, that's great stuff, Scott. Thank you. There was one other question that snuck by me here.
Yeah, and Peace Treaty wanted to know what was the name of the attorney. It's Ted Limas. Just go to theamazingseller.com and then just search for Ted. It should pop right up, or just even for trademark, type in trademark, it'll come up, and I can probably do that for you guys. So Chris, if you want to answer another quick question, I'll go ahead and try to get that for.
I think that actually about wraps it up. We have about 5 minutes left here, guys. If you have any questions, let us know, and we'll see if we can get to them quickly. Chris says, I haven't had the fortune of dealing with hijackers yet, but now I know. Vlad wants to know, Scott, where can I find your courses? Vlad, just let us know which one you're looking for, and we can point you in the right direction. You can get 1K Fast Track at 1kfasttrack.com. Private Label Classroom is available at privatelabelclassroom.com as well.
Yeah, I would also say there's some free training out there, and the one that we did last night, the workshop. Yeah, the workshop we did last night, I would definitely recommend checking out, and that can be found at theamazingseller.com / Chris, is it PL_workshop, or can they get there just by going to the workshop?
The workshop should go to next week's workshop.
Okay.
And PL_ should go to the replay.
Okay. And then let's see. And then yeah. So I wanted to kind of go back to the trademark. I found it. It's episode 186. So theamazingseller.com / 186, and that's what sellers need to know about patents, trademarks, and copyrights. And we also talk about trademarks in there pretty extensively, but you can also get in touch with him by going through that. Let's see. Cool. And yeah, I think that's
I got a few here for rapid fire, Scott.
We do? We got some?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Matt wants to know, when does traffic pick up for Christmas, and what should I expect? The answer is, it depends. It's going to start here. Actually, generally about back to school time is when you start to see that stuff pick back up, and it gets slowly up to about the middle of November towards your Black Friday, and then it's just kind of crazy for a few weeks there. Again, it's hard to tell you what exactly to expect on your product, but even products like barn door hinges, like we were talking about last week, and Matt, if you want a full discussion on this, check out last week's Power Hour. We spent probably 15-20 minutes talking through it. Everything will see at least a little bit of a traffic increase. Things that sell as gifts, like stuff you would have around your house, is generally going to sell more than the other ones would. So 2, 3, 4 times even, depending on what you would do. Yep. So we talked about inventory planning, all that stuff in the Power Hour from last week. You should be able to find that. Scott, that is on the YouTube channel, correct? And then it's also inside of the TAS Facebook group and on the Facebook page. Yep. You guys like the page, all you have to do is go to the videos section, and you'll see last week's video there. Charles wants to know, Scott, are you planning on going to Seller Summit next year?
Yeah, actually, I just spoke to Steve Chu, and I believe I'll be invited back to speak again, which is always exciting. And
I would hope so. You filled that room.
Yeah, yeah, right.
We're just laughing because Scott and Steve spoke against each other, and it was Steve's conference, and Scott had it.
Yeah, and it's yeah, so it's definitely and I think they've already announced the dates. I think it's a little bit earlier than last. But yeah, definitely going to be doing it. I'm also going to be doing a meetup while I'm there, and I'll be talking more about the event a little bit closer, or I'm sorry, a little bit further out this time too, to give people a little bit more notice. But yeah, plan on definitely being there. And Charles, you were there. I remember you. We had a great conversation, and you're always there. So yeah, I look forward to seeing you there. And as you know, it's a great event and a lot of great people. And Steve always tries to raise the bar for the next year. So this will be the 3rd year. And actually, I just had Tony on the podcast, and
she's hanging out with us today.
Yeah, and she was actually, let me see here. I want to see something real quick. She was Wednesday's episode 396, and that was how Tony went from 0 to 25K with one product with not a big expensive launch. And the cool thing is she shot me a video, kind of like a little mini testimonial type thing, which was awesome, Tony. Thank you for doing that. I appreciate that. But she updated her numbers, and it was over 35,000. So when I published it, it was 25K, but it was actually 35 when we actually ended up going live. But definitely go check that out. I had her on. It was a great interview. We were at Seller Summit together, and we had a great conversation, and she hadn't launched yet. The product was there sitting, waiting at her house until she got home, and then she launched it and then blew the doors off, and she's just excited. But just a really an inspiring story, powerful woman. I love it that we're able to highlight the women in this community, and really sharing that this can work for anyone that wants to go out there and put in the work. And Tony's done that. So another little high five for Tony. So yeah, that's all I got, Chris. What do you got?
One quick thing. This is now the 2nd time this has happened to me, but I let her know this morning. I actually saw someone with her product in the wild this morning.
Wow.
So real live people actually buy our stuff on Amazon.
That's cool.
Right? And I laughed and I had to shoot her a text. I know it's happened in the past. Our buddy Jamie's product, I saw somebody using and went, oh my God, somebody buys our actual stuff, right? Because we see these numbers every day and we see, 30, 40, 50, 100 people buy the thing. But it's not like a cell phone where everyone has it in their hand, right? You're walking around and you see it and you go, hey, wait a minute, that's mine.
Right.
I like that thing, right? It's kind of cool. It was a little moment this morning that made me laugh. And so I thought, Scott, you would appreciate that story as well, because it's not every day that you get to see your stuff in the wild, in people's actual hands, and you get to kind of make that connection. So it's kind of cool.
Cool. Dom, what's up for the weekend? And I know you're a busy guy. I do know one thing, you're down in weight again, so that's always something to celebrate. Every week it's a little bit more and a little bit more. And Dom, I was thinking, here publicly we'll talk about this really quickly, but I was thinking about that the other day. I'm like, I gotta have Dom on, and we just gotta do an interview on that whole process of how the mindset switched there a little bit. We altered the lifestyle, and then we just altered that a little bit. And then that also goes into like other people that are in this space that feel like I don't have time for that because my health is going to go to heck, but I'm going to have a successful business. And that's not really good either. And I think it'd be really interesting to kind of dive through some of the hurdles that you went through that we were able to overcome. And now look at you now, and I think you feel better, you look better, I think you got more energy. So I think
which is scary, by the way.
That is scary because Dom already had enough energy. So Dom, why don't you wrap up with some parting thoughts for the week?
Yeah, it's been quite a journey, and obviously, you've been there right along the side with me for the last 5-6 months. So that's been awesome, and Chris to a point too, a little bit here and there with some encouragement. So that's good. For the 1K fast track, that's that's our main goal right now. We'll work with everybody there, make sure they're all pumping stuff out. Get all the product lists and things. So I'm really happy with that. I'm glad they're actually joined the course and actually going through with something. And again, that's everyone's dilemma in life, right? It's a gym syndrome. You sign up for something, you should never go use it. So I'm hoping people can encourage other people in there. Guys like Mike Curry and Syed that are in the group that are doing big numbers already after only a few months. It's pretty encouraging. And every time I see somebody post their one thing, they hear the cha-ching from eBay, they're all excited. So that was great. So yeah, everybody that's up there, and we'll be on there answering out all your questions and stuff. As far as personally wise, it's a couple things in there. It's my brother-in-law's stag this weekend, so I think nice. Saturday and Sunday.
That ought to be fun.
It's gonna be interesting trying to eat clean the whole weekend. So I guess I'm gonna have to go to the store and buy a bunch of salads and put them in the fridge.
You'll do it.
Yeah, we'll do it.
Awesome. Cool, man. So, all right, yeah. So, and I wanna just say something here, Dom. The other day, I was talking to our good friend Bill, and he goes, "I gotta hurry up and get going because Dom's gonna pass me here pretty soon." In weight,
the same thing.
Yeah, in weight. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. Charles says Dom is making me look bad. I need to get on his diet. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. So we're not just inspiring people to basically live the life they want with, financial freedom and stuff, but also taking care of their health and feeling better about themselves. And, it's a constant battle, for people. And, I just look at it like our health is really a huge part of our success. And it was funny. I had my good friend JB Glossinger on the podcast, which hasn't aired yet. It's going to air pretty soon. So look out for that one. That one's going to be killer.
That guy is fire.
Yeah, he's fire, right? And he told me, I said, what's your number one tip for someone that wants to be successful in business? And he said, number one, start with their health. If they get on a health kick, I'm telling you, anytime that I ever get out in a funk, I always tell myself to get back to exercise and diet, and I always get myself back on track that way. So it's like a mind switch. So yeah, definitely. But anyway, yeah. So Dom, you've got some people that are getting started now because they don't want you to pass you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, here was Dom. We ain't gonna worry about him. Now all of a sudden you're creeping up. You're like the guy coming up behind him. You're like, you better get moving, man. I'm going to surpass you. So that's pretty awesome. So proud of you, and I'm proud of the people that you're inspiring. I know someone in your warehouse has dropped over 100 pounds as well. So it's just contagious, and I just love it. We're changing lives all over the place, not just in business, but in your personal life. So it's pretty awesome.
For sure.
One last thing, Chris, while we're on, can I say one last thing? Can I?
You have the floor.
Last night we did our workshop, and we had new students come in. And then we also added some stuff to our TAS Breakthrough U area community. And there's a video that I shot in there going through my why and doing like a really big deep dive. And it's kind of like the 7 exercises to really, really dig deep into your why. And I did it twice, and I recorded myself doing it twice. And we had someone in the class that went through that exercise. It literally gave me chills. He went through this exercise, and he was blown away at the results. So what I want to say to you guys is if you're in the class, do that exercise. It's there for you. If you are not, you can still do the exercise. Dig deep into why you are doing this. Get your life straight, okay? And get your mind straight, because if you know what you're doing this for, and you have a big, big picture of that, and you're reminded of that, it will motivate you and drive you to just push through these obstacles that you're going to face, because you are going to face them. It's just a matter of how do you bust through them. So I just want to give a shout out to the class, and that lesson was the first it's been really introduced, and to get that feedback already made me feel pretty cool. So yeah. So Chris, anything else you want to wrap up with before we say goodbye?
I think that nails it, brother. Let's go ahead and wrap this thing up. Guys, if you do have any questions, feel free to continue to either leave them in this thread or join us inside of the Amazing Seller Facebook group. If you're not already there, that is theamazingseller.com/F as in Frank, B as in boy. All 3 of us are in there. If you have any questions, you can ask us or the other 49,000 something people, just under 50,000. Scott, the other thing that I did want to mention today, I wanted to give you a little pat on the back. I know we found this out last night. You just crossed the 8 million download threshold for the TAS podcast, which is really, really cool. And guys, that's all thanks to you. So thank you very much for being there. Thank you for listening to me, for listening to Scott, for listening to Dom, for putting up with our shenanigans, our chicanery, and our sarcasm. Thank you again. Have an awesome, amazing day. And Scott, what would you like to tell them to do?
I think it's something that's like on my shirt.
Oh, it's on your shirt. That's convenient.
Like take action, something like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that works. Yeah.
All right, cool, guys. Have an awesome, amazing weekend. YouTube, this is the first time I kind of did a live for you guys, so we'll see how it goes in the future. I'm going to try to kind of plug some software in to make this a little bit easier and a little bit better, but we're working on that. So thank you. We'll see you guys. Have an awesome weekend. Megan, thank you. Have an awesome weekend. Luke, I seen that you commented, and I appreciate you as well. Charles, keep rocking and rolling, and we'll see everybody next week. Martin, Luke, yeah, there's Luke. All right, so we'll see you guys. And I'm going to shut down YouTube if you want to shut down Facebook, Chris, and we will get on out of here. Have an awesome, amazing weekend, guys. Take action. We'll see you.